y'all? Welcome back to another episode of NASCAR 3. Well, y'all, welcome back to Runabout NASCAR Podcast. This is a special NASCAR off-track news episode. This was supposed to be an episode closer to after St. Louis. It was going to be the St. Louis review, but guys got lazy and news kept coming. I knew there was chances for some big titles to come out, and a lot of stuff did come out. So looking forward to breaking it all down. But congrats to Austin Cindric. What a finish. The St. Louis ending. The overall race was pretty for me. It wasn't the most exciting race, but the ending was, oh my gosh, from Christopher Bell thinking that he was going to dominate the race, then having issues, to then Blaney holding him off, to then Blaney running out of gas with 1 lap to go, and Cindric passing him. Oh, it was awesome. It was exciting. Congrats to Austin Cindric. That really blew up the playoff picture. But let's get into our off-track news. Our first topic. Congratulations to NASCAR for not making the worst decision they possibly could have made. Kyle Larson has been granted a waiver. Great for them. One of NASCAR's main reasons for giving him a waiver was because he made a big enough attempt to get to Charlotte after the Indy 500 due to the weather being an interference, pushing the Indy 500 closer to the Charlotte race. They interfered. Larson did the best he could to get to the race, and he got to the race. But right when he got to the race, the weather came from Charlotte, from Indianapolis. And NASCAR, I still think, probably should have restarted that race, and they probably could, but they thought the humidity in the air was too much. There was no chance of getting this track dry enough soon enough. Even though 1 hour later, it looked dry. We're not going to get into that. Yeah, I don't even know why there's such a debate, but, NASCAR thinks they're the biggest and baddest thing, which I think as a NASCAR fan they are. But Kyle Larson, just the fact that he was doing this freaking Indy 500 gave NASCAR so much publicity. So the fact that NASCAR was upset, it did more good for NASCAR than hurt NASCAR, okay? I get it. You wanted Kyle Larson. I think a lot of fans were bummed out. And it definitely still hurt NASCAR, especially if the fans bought tickets to the Cokes and tried to see Kyle Larson. That really hurt. But I think we got to figure out how this waiver thing works. The fact that, Chase Elliott, he intentionally wrecked Denny Hamlin. He got suspended 1 race and then still got a waiver. Like that, if you do something wrong and against the rules and then still get you shouldn't get a waiver. But if you get injured, you should get a waiver. I think a waiver is so dumb in a sense. I get it. There's a rule. They're all obligated to run every single race. And the waiver is really just there so you're playoff eligible, right? If you had a full season points system, there's, you miss a race. Well, that's the points penalty is a big enough penalty in itself. I think they should get rid of the whole waiver. And I heard that they're not going to change the waiver, the way the waiver works. I think they should. I think they should just get rid of it. If you miss a race, you miss a race. You're gonna hurt your team and your sponsors and your point situation. That's how I think I look at it, in my opinion. But congratulations to NASCAR again, and happy for Kyle Larson. Looking forward. It's gonna be good. I'm excited to see how if he can rebound from this points loss. I think now he's 3rd in points. Looking forward. I'm excited to watch Kyle Larson trying to go win a freaking championship. So next thing. Front Row Motorsports officially announced that they have re-signed Todd Gilland to a multi-year deal. They also announced that they bought a charter, and that charter was one of the Stewart-Haas's charters, it sounds like, and they bought it for around $20 to $25 million. Also, Front Row Motorsports, Bob Jenkins, the owner of Front Row Motorsports, was talks that he has been at the Stewart-Haas racing shop. There's talks that they could buy the shop. There are also talks that sounds like he's going to be trying to get in some of those employees to come over his side. It looks like Bob Jenkins is trying to turn Front Row Motorsports into the new top 4 team, big time team, the new Stewart-Haas maybe. They can get some of the Stewart-Haas's drivers like Noah Gragson, Josh Berry. I think Chase Briscoe, Ford likes him. He could go to 21. There's a lot that happened with Front Row Motorsports from a team that was a small team. Now they're becoming a big team, and I think there's a lot to do with what the money they're putting into, what Ford's putting into Front Row Motorsports. And I can't not laugh at the fact that I still find it crazy that Michael McDowell is choosing to leave a Tier 1 Ford team in Front Row Motorsports to then go down to a 3rd tier Chevy team that's Inspired. I know that Inspired's growing and they have shown good runs, but I know the main reason why Michael McDowell said he is leaving because he wants sustainability. Michael McDowell and Todd Gilland were going off 1-year deals, right? And look, maybe Michael McDowell didn't know what the future of FRM Motorsports. That maybe he didn't know they were going to expand and make their team bigger, right? It doesn't make any sense. Michael McDowell probably would have got an offer. He probably would have got an offer thrown at him about a multi-year deal. But now he chose to leave, and he's signed for Aspire for next year. So I get that Michael McDowell thinks he can go over there, Aspire, and build that team up and make them a championship level team. I don't think so. I think he's a good driver, but championship caliber driver. I don't know. Time will tell, I guess you could say. But from Motorsports, and they're serious now, and I'm excited. I think Ford is, they've not been the best at the racetrack at times, but I think they're starting to improve, and I think Ford's getting, this season at least, is getting closer and closer to what Toyota and Chevy when it comes to overall performance of their cars. So this is big. Congrats to Todd Gilland. I think he's a solid driver. Hey, Todd Gilland, he's done pretty well. He's a top 15 guy. He's really good in the super speedways. He can lead laps there. I think he's run really well. I'll be interested to see kind of what who they bring in. Noah Gragson, Josh Berry. Do they bring? Maybe I feel terrible for Zane Smith too. The fact that he's probably out of a ride right now, because now we'll get into it. The whole charter situation. I mean, the charter they're making the new charter agreement only gives teams a ability to have 3 charters and not 4. What's Zane Smith? I felt like, man, Zane Smith got screwed over this. Maybe you should have never left from Motorsports. Maybe you should have just stayed in the truck for 1 more year and wouldn't try to go win a freaking truck championship. And then maybe you would have had an opportunity at Front Motorsports to drive in a Tier 1 Ford car. But he made, we all make we make in life, you make your own decisions for your best interests that you feel like you can succeed for. But that's all I'm going to say about Front Motorsports. I could just keep talking, and we'll never get to the next topic. And then the next thing, the France family, with this new charter agreement, could allow a member from the France family who started NASCAR would be able to buy a NASCAR charter starting in 2025 under the new terms and the latest charter offer. To me, it's just kind of stupid that this is even. Why? It's like if Roger Goodell decided to buy an NFL franchise and then still owned the NFL, or like what freaking Roger Penske's doing. He owns the stinking IndyCar series. He owns his own team, and he also owns the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which is they hold the biggest race that IndyCar puts on. I don't know. I mean, I'm so frustrated with the decisions that NASCAR's made that I'm not really a big fan of this, but I guess whatever. I just think it's so dumb. I mean, because then you would feel like, is there things that is the France family cheating? Is there things they're doing are they getting away with things that we don't know of because they have, they're like the owners of the sport? I don't know how they work. If they want to partner with a team and come in as a part owner, I'm all for that. I guess I don't know. I don't really give a frick. But it would be kind of weird and interesting if they did that. And then the next thing, Dale Earnhardt Jr. did talk about a possibility about buying a charter. He did say, well, he is still he's still on the table. Dale Jr. has said they're still at the table when it comes to trying to last charter. There was a quote I wanted to bring up. I'm not buying a charter and putting millions of dollars away into something that I can't then recoup or sell for a profit. I feel like that would be wrong of me because of our legacy and my last name. To buy into a charter and then sell it a couple years later and try to reap a profit, Earnhardt stated, if you're going to get into this, you got to get in with commitment. Not for the money, not for the potential. We've always raced to win, a race to go compete, not thinking about a way to profit. Well, I'm a bit confused because, yeah, of course, you're going to buy a charter so you can go race the NASCAR Cup Series. You're not going to buy a charter to hope to get your money back because usually that's not why you buy a charter. You're buying a charter so you can be on the NASCAR Cup Series entry list every week. That's why you buy a charter, so you can go race in the Cup Series, dude. So he just seems like I don't know why you would think, I'm not sure, I'm confused. Right? If he's really thinking about, if he's thinking about buying a charter, and then hopefully a couple of years later, if the Cup Series isn't going too well for him to go sell it, I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm a bit confused by that. But no, look, if Dale Earnhardt Jr. were to get in the Cup Series, would be big. He also talked about from this podcast about they haven't talked about running an open car and seeing how that works. They also talked about maybe partnering with someone because I think the original goal, it probably still is that they want to start a team and they want to run and build a car out of their shop. But due to that, the cost is just too high, I guess. Right now, I mean, 20 to 25 million. We got to think about that. 20 to 25 million is so much less than what, I mean, freaking congratulations to BJ McLeod for getting them. He got double what that freaking charter was worth. He got 40 million for a charter. And now, due to the fact that Stewart-Haas Racing is selling him 4 charters at once, they're, half the value. 20 to 25 million. So congrats to Pro Motorsports. And I mean, I know, Dale Jr. has talked in the past that he could have bought a BK Racing charter for $2 million and failed. And look, I think Dale Jr. himself has the money to do it, but that's a lot of money. I understand. But look, man, we may never get to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Junior Motorsports in the Cup Series, which is going to be disappointing. We'll see. But I just think, if Dale Earnhardt Jr. is really thinking about making a profit off buying a charter, I'm not sure he's really in it for the right reasons. You buy a charter so you can race, and I'm not trying to act like that's what he meant in this. That's just how the way I'm interpreting it. But also another thing, when it comes to Dale Earnhardt Jr., they applied for the trademark of the iconic Budweiser 8 number. Teresa Earnhardt, the stepmother of Dale Earnhardt Jr., the former wife of Dale Earnhardt Sr., they applied, and I think Teresa had the trademark, but she hasn't applied, and pretty much Dale Earnhardt Jr., his company, whatever, LLC, Incorporated, whatever it is, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they applied for the trademark. They want to have it. But he said, I either want Teresa to have it, and if she were to come up and re-up, I would be totally comfortable and happy about that, or I would like to have it. I'd love it to stay either hers or mine and not end up somewhere else. And so there's one thing that I'll say about Teresa is if in terms of owning a trademark and protecting things like that, protecting our legacy and our family name, I have a lot of trust in her around those things. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. wants to have this trademark, and I think it would be absolutely awesome because I know I was hearing from this podcast that if he got a trademark, they would probably use it. Just for Cars Tour Races, which is the series Dale Earnhardt Jr. owns, and also maybe he can use it. Right? They'll use it more. Teresa just has the right to it, and I know she's got a lot of bad criticism and hate towards her because of certain things. Budweiser did an iconic commercial for Dale Earnhardt Jr. during his retirement year, but it was this cool video of the car, but you couldn't see the 8 because if Budweiser showed the 8, they probably got sued because they don't own the rights to the 8 number and showing it. So I think, right, it looks like I guess Teresa still has the opportunity to re-up the ownership of that trademark, but if she doesn't in a certain time, then Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his company will take over it, which would be awesome. I think it'd be better off with Dale Earnhardt Jr. because he'll use the number. It'd be freaking sick for fans, great for fans, merchandise. Be awesome. So that is when it comes to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s charter and trademark news. Now, we talk about this charter agreement. We're wondering, NASCAR, I think, sent out a charter agreement to a bunch of teams to hopefully get some teams to sign on. Well, Denny Hamlin had a quote about whether or not the new agreement is to their liking. I think there's still a ton of work to do, not a little bit of work to do, quite a bit. So that's going to be the priority over the next few months to get this thing a little closer. So it sounds like for Denny Hamlin that 2011, they still ain't satisfied with this agreement. And man, this is going to be interesting. This is really dragged on long. And it seems like the teams they're not backing down, right? They're going to use all the leverage they got. And I know with 2011, they've run in a whole new management team, They brought in, I guess lawyers or whatever people they brought in from, the NFL, the NBA, people that have dealt with other big contracts like this or agreements between the league and teams. And they weren't really big fans of the style that NASCAR does this, and they've been trying to come in and really help and, and these teams are really using their leverage with that. So it stinks that they were still not an agreement there. But look, man, as a NASCAR person who makes content, it's great entertainment. Things get spicy, get exciting to see. Teams in NASCAR clashing heads isn't great. In the long term things, because you want teams in NASCAR to be good together. But look, teams. Look, I think that to me, I'm always going to side with the teams. The teams to me are what make NASCAR. I can understand that really everything that the teams buy is all to race in NASCAR, but the teams are what fans go to the racetrack for, right? They want to see Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Joe Nagano, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski. Right? They want to see the big boys. They want to see those guys, those stars race. And look, now, yes, do those stars race in NASCAR? And maybe they became NASCAR fans before they became fans of those drivers. But I still think the teams are the most important, and I want the teams to be healthy. So that's how I see it. I've said that stuff before when we talk about the charter stuff. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Another thing, this is really interesting. Dana White, the CEO of UFC, was on the Flagrant podcast, which I think is run by Andrew Schultz, who is a comedian. Really great podcast. Well, Dana White, who I think owns the Nitro Cross, which is a racing series. They use like electric cars. They have jumps, ramps. Like, it's a fun series. He co-owns that with Travis Pastrana. And they've been racing at some NASCAR venues. I guess they are trying to form a partnership. Well, Dana White said something. I'm flying to NASCAR, and we're doing a deal with NASCAR. We're going to be the electric series for NASCAR. Yeah, we're working on that deal right now. So, there are already talks about electric car coming in NASCAR electric series possibilities. Well, Dana White saying this. Is the Nitro Cross going to be the electric car series for NASCAR? This is going to be, I think I was here after the 4th of July, which after the 4th of July, it's the Chicago Street Course race, but also the race after that is around is Pocono. But that is interesting. Now, the funny thing about this is that Travis Pastrana did make a comment. He was asked about this deal. He says that Dana White wasn't supposed to talk about it either, but he likes to talk before anything's out there. So Travis Pastrana wasn't really a big fan of Dana White saying this stuff. So maybe this is news that Dana White wasn't supposed to share. So this is big, but like if this does come to fruition, I mean, Nitro Cross is a growing thing. So for it to be under NASCAR's ownership, hopefully, NASCAR doesn't tear it apart or, are they going to run it at like actual NASCAR tracks? Because like Nitro Crosses, they have like jumps and ramps and stuff. So I don't know if they're really going to, is it going to be on, is it going to be, a companion series to, the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series? I don't know. That'll be interesting to see that's what NASCAR plan is. But who knows if this even does come to fruition. We'll see. I know the electric car series, they utilize battery power SUV platform called the FCIX, developed by First Corner, a joint venture between QEV Technology and Olisburg's SME. The Protect has since received manufacturer support. So I guess that the battery powered, whatever battery they use in these Nitro Cross cars, has gotten support from like Ford, Subaru, and Volkswagen. Ford is the only one that races in NASCAR, so who knows? It could get some manufacturer support. That's probably what it can do. I hope NASCAR never goes full electric in the NASCAR Cup Series because I'm a combustion engine fan. I like the noise. The noise, I think, is one of the most appealing things about NASCAR in today's age. But really interesting stuff. And then last thing, I guess a couple last things I wanted to talk about was that Fox Sports is up 1% when it comes to viewership. They're averaging around 3.3 million viewers this year. Also, Mike Joy does plan to return next year for Fox. This is their last race this weekend at Sonoma. Whenever you're watching this, it could have already been happened and been done. Fox has not been, to me, I think their broadcast booth with Michael Joy and Clint Boyer and Kevin Hart have been really, really good, but I think their overall production has been terrible. It's disappointing, but hopefully with these new partners like Prime Video and TNT come in and really blow this place up and really, come in with a whole different style and really hopefully elevate the NASCAR broadcast stuff. Also, Race Hub is ending June 11th. Will be the last episode of Race Hub. So really, Fox is really downgrading and overall how much NASCAR production they'll be putting out. So really, really disappointing. But hopefully a new NASCAR, maybe TNT comes in and has their own weekly show. I think weekly shows are really, really important for NASCAR. And that's all I want to say about Fox. Also, Indianapolis, they had a test this past weekend. Danny Hamlin did say that he thinks this car is actually better for ovals. So I don't know if he meant by this car is better for ovals than the road course they have there, or he means this car is better than any other car they raced at Indianapolis for the oval. I know Dan Hamlin also said he wished the cars were around 10 mile per hour slower at this track. They're already much slower than they were in the past, but he says if the next-gen cars were slower at Indianapolis, they could have more of that Indy 500 feel where they're drafting off each other and building runs and slingshotting past each other. But he did say it should be solid race. I also got Iowa next week too. So last second, I'm looking forward to see how Iowa is. They did repave some stuff there that I'm not the biggest fan of. Especially with a new repave and then your tires that don't really wear much. I'm a little worried that Iowa may not be as, exciting and maybe might get the hype for it might die a little bit because of that. But I'm looking forward to that. Besides that, that's all I'm going to say about today's episode of NASCAR Off Track News. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give me a review, like, and subscribe. I'll try my best. Sometimes I apologize if I talk too much. I think I talk way too fast, and I'm trying to slow it down. But I try to get as much, content and stuff out there and as much content as I can without making too long an episode. Short and sweet is the way I like to say it. But that's it for today's episode. Goodbye.